Hey, welcome to my channel. Um, I don't know how to go about this, honestly. I don't know what to say because this is a situation where it seems like everything is going against the Giants. More so to the point where I'm not saying that we should ban it because, like, honestly, I think the tush push it's still part of it that people were able to exploit it. I don't think that should be a case where they should be removing it or banning it. But I think it's a case where they should take into account if a ball is fumbled or if there are false starts, they should be calling them on that. The fact that the Philadelphia Eagles are the masters of the tush push, um, it's it's a case where, like, I think the refs have to start looking into this because, like, let's be honest, that ball was stripped away. That was a fumble. That was a fumble. You can't deny it. It was a fumble. And if you're saying otherwise, I don't know what it is. Because, like, the fact that you didn't even hear the whistle until after the Giants got the possession. Did they say, "Oh, no, no, no"? It's actually there was already forward momentum. It was stopped. So, like, we revert the ball back to the Eagles at that point. They've got a first down. And then I don't know. It feels like also the other aspect is this is a game where the NFL wants the Eagles to win. Basically, the fact that they were embarrassed 2 weeks ago, I think the NFL, the league itself, is basically trying to say is like, hey, we got to make sure that it's a close game, but not there's not an embarrassment like this again. To a point where that touchdown that was taken away from the Giants, offensive pass interference makes no sense, quite honestly. And that from that perspective, if you look closely at that play, the dude's his hand was being held a little bit. That should have been a defensive pass interference, but the fact they called it offensive pass interference made no sense. And so, from that aspect, it feels like the league is maybe trying to force maybe the Giants because, like, they're one of the older teams outside of the Bears, Packers, and Cardinals and Steelers for that matter. That they're trying to maybe get the Giants back into essentially being a dominant team like they used to be. But because you got Jackson Dart now being, the quarterback that he is, and, like, he's not a bad boy. Just I have a feeling he's going to be a bad boy. He's going to be what the league is against towards because, like, they wanted the Peyton Manning, the Tom Brady's, the Eli Mannings. Those are the type of quarterbacks that they want the face of the league. Basically, I don't know if they want in this situation Jackson Dart. Time will only tell about that point. Um, but quite honestly, it seems like they're setting up the Giants to basically have a low end draft pick again, so that they can essentially, or a high end draft pick. I mean, sorry, so that they could basically become dominant again. I don't know. It's just my take because, like, quite honestly, it makes no sense why these two calls were taken away. Is it the fact that because they were in Philadelphia, the refs were, worried that, like, whoa, if we don't call for the Eagles, we won't get out alive? I don't know. That's a possibility. I have no idea. But quite honestly, the Giants are probably going to be 2 wins, maybe 3 wins, barely 3 to 4 wins, basically, because let's be honest, Scatterbo being injured, it's it's now at a moment of, let's say, how what's the other guy's name? I forgot. I apologize. I got to look for his name now. Uh, Singletary is not going to be your main running back because he's lost 3 steps, quite honestly. Tracy, Tyrone Tracy Jr. It will be interesting to see how Tracy, like the other draft pick, the higher draft pick over Scatterbo, will do. Because quite honestly, Scatterbo was more. Well, he reminds you a little bit of the Gronk, basically. He reminds you of Gronk a little bit, as well a little bit of Kelsey, basically, where, you know, uh, Travis Kelsey, that is, where, they're kind of in the head. But in any case, um, I will say this. I think Schoen should be given the opportunity to let him still build out. I hate to say this about Dable. It looks like with him and Dart, they're tied together. They're like joined at the hip to the point where like if you get rid of unfortunately, well, I don't know. It's hard to say because if you get rid of Dable, the only way I could see anything progressing is if you have a really really good coach, head coach that really and a set of good coordinators as well too. That will be very helpful for Dart and the rest of the team, respectively. Because Neighbors, I think, does not respect Dable. Uh, we saw what happened with. We're seeing what's going on right now with Daniel Jones with Indiana, but let's be honest, that's because of Jonathan Taylor, basically. I keep calling it Jonathan Taylor Thomas, but I realize that's the actor. Anyways, Jonathan Taylor, basically, where he's having an MVP season, like he's back to his normal form. He, Jones has got like some serious weapons. It comes down to this: if Taylor was basically injured, it would be interesting to see how Daniel Jones does. Because the fact of the matter is Taylor is what Saquon was with the Giants when Barkley was behind Daniel Jones, and it showed how good it showed that hey, Daniel Jones might be good, but in reality, is like after Barkley was gone, you saw like he wasn't that good. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Taylor out, how Daniel Jones does. I still believe that all Daniel Jones is maybe a decent game manager, almost like a Purdy. But I think that's all he really is. It's just really a game manager. I mean, like, yeah, last year, for the past couple of years, I said like he's not a quarterback. He's not a quarterback. I still don't think he is that elite quarterback that everyone wants to take. I mean, like Indiana's like, hey, we got it now because we're 7-1 because of Daniel Jones. We got him. No, it's not true. It's only because you've got the right pieces there. Like you got JT basically. He's pretty much predominantly the main reason why they're doing so well, and they have a weak schedule too. It'll be interesting to see how they play in 2 weeks from now, where it comes out to in 2 weeks. Because like I still don't believe Indianapolis is high up there. I won't believe it. Jalen Jones is not that person. We'll see what happens. They're going to make the playoffs. We know that they're going to make the playoffs. But once they make the playoffs, you'll see what happens with Daniel Jones. Indianapolis will be so like pissed off and like, what the hell, Dan? You'll see Daniel Jones collapse. But in any case, because Daniel Jones is doing so well in Indianapolis, the thing is like everything's going to look at Dable. It's like, well, your system doesn't work because Daniel Jones is now thriving outside of your system. I don't know if that's going to be a situation here, but it's looking more and more like that. And I think what's going to happen is if the Giants don't get 6 to 8 wins this season, Dable is going to be gone. Shane may or may not be gone as well too. I don't know. But I know Mara's got to be fixated on more of his health than the team. So it'll be interesting to see how this season plays out at the end of the season. Basically, will Dable be fired or not? I think, like I said, I think Dable can. I don't know if Dable should be a head coach, but he's a guy that can definitely mold Jackson Dart to being another Josh Allen. Because we're seeing that. And he's starting anew with them basically. Whereas with Daniel Jones, you had basically Shermer and Judge basically kind of mold him to what they wanted, and then essentially Dable had to like fix it around that. But he was trying to get Daniel Jones into his system, but it never worked out. I mean, let's be honest. It looks like sometimes QBs they only thrive under certain systems. If they can't thrive in multiple systems, or if they can't define their own system, then they won't succeed. I mean, look at Jalen Hurts. He's doing really well, as well as Mahomes. They're all doing well because they know how to adapt and they can adjust to it, and then they'll slowly put their nuances into that system itself as well too. Similar to the point of, I don't want to say I'm surprised that Sam Darnold is now actually becoming what he is. That he's actually good. I think it's more of it took him time to learn all these systems and like how to adjust, and basically I think he was trying to force a system that he was so used to, and the reality is I don't think he adjusted to it until just now. It could be the case with Daniel Jones. I don't know. That's a possibility. I'm not entirely sure. Only time will tell at that point. But like I said, I think in this situation, I think Dart is a guy. The fact that him and pretty much Dable are joined at the hip, I think Dable will be able to get way more out of Dart than was expected. Because everyone knew Dart was good, but they didn't know how good he was until seeing becoming a rookie, starting to start the games. I mean, I'll be honest. I thought Dart was going to start maybe around this time if Wilson was not doing anything with the Giants. I honestly think that Jameis Winston should have been the person that they should have started over Wilson, but I mean Wilson I think was a big mistake. Shane basically, that's the problem with Shane. I think on the draft side he's decent enough, but as a GM person, he sucks. Let's be honest, he sucks because like the way he treated Barkley, and the way he let Barkley go, and the way he signed Daniel Jones, the way he signed him, and the fact that he signed Russell Wilson, that was a mistake in and of itself. So that was a mistake. So I will say this: I'm trying to like think of my thoughts exactly how to say it, but if the Giants don't get 8 wins or 6 wins, I'm sorry, 6 wins. If the Giants don't get 6 wins to show some progress, look for Shane and Daybell to be gone at the end of the season. I'll be honest, like, they're going to be gone. I'm hoping that Shane could learn from this because, like, this is a guy that, like I said, I think from the draft side of things, I think they can recognize. Daybell will. I'll be honest. Daybell can recognize talent. He knew about Drake May. He knew that he was a guy that they needed. If they could get him, let's get him. I think Shane even recognized it too. Like if they could get a Drake May, they can get Drake May. The only problem is like hearing stories now that Shane was looking towards Shadur Sanders over Dart. That has me a little concerned because if not for Dable says like no, let's get Dart over Sanders. I think Dable, like I said, Dable can recognize talent. I hate to say this, but maybe Dable not being a head coach, but more so a GM might be the right move for him. But the problem is he knows how to develop the players too. That's the thing. He knows how to develop them. I hate to say this, but you know what? I think Dable should actually not be a head coach in the NFL, but he should be a head coach in college football. I think college football is perfect for Dable because he knows how to mold players. Molding these players, he could be a dominant force. He could become a new Saban basically in the legend of Saban, the legend of Holtz, the legend of um, there's so many out there, but yeah, Spurrier. He could have that new legend, define that legend within college football, and become an absolute legend in there. I think he deserves to go into college football if the right team picks him up. If I'm LSU, the fact that they fired Kelly, I would wait for Dable at the end of the season. If Dable gets fired, you hire him. You hire him immediately because Dable makes sense to go and join the LSU Tigers. He should be their head coach. I don't know. That's me basically. But in any case, I'll leave it at that. Let me guys know your thoughts. You're welcome to tell me like I'm full of BS. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'll accept it. And if so, I like I said, I'm willing to accept responsibility, but I'm also willing. I like open criticisms. I love to know like how I can make myself better. So that'd be great if you can like give me that feedback as well too. That'd be great. With that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, of course, always unrehearsed. Until next time.